lecture is about the designing technique for adornment in Islamic architecture. And this is my job. I am from a family which they have 150 years background in this business, traditional architecture and ceramic making. So it's part of our experiment in designing, also in building in our project. First of all, I want to introduce the sections of my lecture, which is in 3 sections, which the first is about the designing techniques and the classification of the designs for adornment, which we have 3 different style and group of adornment in our culture, which one of them is a squared pattern, which we call in our culture mu'aqqali, which about this word I will explain later. Second group is geometrical pattern, and the third is arabesque pattern, floral, which we call in Persian language Islami, Islami and Khatai. Islami. Islami. No, Islami, I will explain later what means. Second section is pattern from origin of the form, which it is my major subject for research during this 15 years ago. And I research about this and collect something about 20,000 patterns around the world, which included a big archive. And I show these possibilities, which how the pattern come from origin of the form. I will speak about this later. And the third section of my lecture will be the classification of the adornment effect in the architecture. Before then, I want to clear 2 keywords, which one of them is design and one of them is adornment, because I will use this, and it's important to have an exact and correct translation about these 2 words. There is difference between drawing and design, which I want to attend this, and design is the subject of my lecture. Before then, we hear about the drawing during these days, but I want to focus on design in this lecture. And the second keyword is adornment and decoration, which I want to concentrate and focus on the adornment, not decoration, because I believed decoration is something which you add on the surface or you add on the forms. But what we do in the Islamic architecture is adornment, which is totally different process of design in compare with the West architecture and West art. It takes 2 months, which I reached to this word, adornment, to explain the method of designing in Islamic architecture. So first section, which is the classification of the designing technique for the surface adornment in Islamic architecture. There is 3 different groups, a squared pattern, which in Iran they call this mu'aqqali, and in most of the books you will read this word, mu'aqqali. Some of the researchers, they translate this mu'aqqali as the pattern which you have thinking about and understand. But I believe that regarding to the region which yesterday we saw in your works, Mr. Imamuddin, which this mu'aqqali pattern is from the area which Mughal groups, they build Islamic work there. So it's referred to the Mughali method of designing. When we call mu'aqqali, is regarding to the Mughali style of the pattern, Mongolia. Second group is geometrical pattern, which we saw during these days. And the third is arabesque pattern, which we call Islami. And in most of the book, you read this word, Islami. In Iran, we have 2 groups of the design of the adornment. One is Islami, which is come from the Ottoman period, from Turkish side. And another one is Khata'i, which is belong to the Persian pattern. Sultan Salim was a poem, and in his poem, he named himself Salim. And same time, same period of history, in Iran we have a king, which his name was Muhammad Sultan Shah or Shah Muhammad Khatakar. And he was also a poem, and in his poem, he called himself Khata'i. These two styles of design, Islami as Khata'i shown, which Islami is more from Ottoman period, from Turkey, and Khata'i is from Iran. Refer to the origin of these two names. So we have Islami and Khata'i. All other translation is wrong. About Islami belong to Islam or something, no. This is addressed to the name of these two kings. So first of all, a squared pattern, which I call this a better translation, a squared pattern, which is the pattern which created but by installation. I attend again installation or combination the glazed brick during the bricklaying on the surface. So it shows how they create this pattern during construction. The pattern, these are in a systematic grid, which is with rectangular grids, to using the color or coloring in these systematic grids. And they create possibility for Kufic calligraphics, as we saw in Haji Ali presentation, this calligraphic Kufic, and possibility to make different brick, lattice, or screen surface. As you will see, same this with a screen surface, positive and negative, or this calligraphy, which is very simple design. The second group is geometrical pattern, which created for more complicated adornment usage. Geometrical patterns are based on two basic roots, which one of them come from triangle grids, and another one from the squared grids, 45 or 90 degree. These are two different groups. The pattern which based on 60-degree grids are from Semitic or Arabic historic route. You will see in this area, because by the Nile River, they woving with the Nile planets, and they take the 60-degree resultant. And slowly, this image comes to the design. But in the Aryan historical region, they doing bricklaying. So this bricklaying give the resultant in 90 degree. So these are basically two different separated patterns in two different zones very long time ago, and it's growing up. So Arabs and Sami groups are from same root, they are cousins, which you will saw in the Arabic country or in Israel, same this pattern, based on 60 degree. But Iranian, which Aryan ethnic, Germany, you will saw this kind of group, 90 degree. These are the basics, so you will see later more complicated pattern, but these are the basic roots of this geometrical pattern. Geometrical patterns are the first step of changing the texture in compare with Muaqqali, the texture to the adornment which covering the surface, change to a divisional precincts, which define some area in the pattern. This photo, you will see definition of new area or dividing. This is possible textural, but this is also possible. With geometrical pattern, we have this possibility in compare with mu'aqqali, the squared pattern. It is the need beginning to use this for adornment. What I say adornment is this, designing with the pattern. Also, they are giving us the possibility, more possibility to following the shapes, the geometrical shape. As I saw yesterday in the article which Professor Mirek researched about this, how the geometrical pattern could be able to follow the different shape with different proportion. And it is the possibility of geometrical pattern in compare with mu'aqqali, which gives such a possibility, which we have right corner here, right corner here, right corner here, one center here, and this is the possibility of geometrical pattern. This is the skillfully of the designer, even to have a correct, exact design in such a complicated shape, or such a complicated shape, which you see, quarter of a star here, half a star here, quarter of a star here, center here, 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 and again center here. It was not possible with other method of the adornment. This is the geometrical pattern designing which give us such a possibility as an architect to use this in our designing. The third category is arabesque pattern or Islami, which is more floral, and this also has its specialities, which I explain. This is a designing method which created for affecting more on the architectural element surface for adornment usage. Later I will explain what is this. And it is created to present the original geometry of the form, or define this, or manipulate this, or whatever, which later I will explain. And creation common points on the architectural element surface to inspiration a hidden network between the points of reference in the architectural space. Also possibility to modify the function approach by the scale and size of the motifs based on the visitor points with different size or different scales of the pattern. Also possibility to combination with iconic motifs. This arabesque pattern has positive or negative outcome or outlook. Is it possible it's possible in this category of pattern to define a point of reference, same this point which you see, or this, and these are have usage in architectural purpose and in architectural designing, which later you will see how the relation between these points create a hidden network in the space. And the architect in Islamic architecture, especially in Iran, they use this for different reason and different purpose. As the sample here in Blue Mosque, you will see the relation of these points which define it with the Islami design. Here, create a hidden network in the space which affect on the architectural definition and space definition also. Or in this one, the relation between these points affect on the scale and function and the circulation in the architectural space. It is why they beginning to create such a pattern, arabesque, to have more possibility to use this as the architectural items, designing items. It's about the scale. With this arabesque pattern, it was possible to have different size of pattern, different scale, from macro scale, as you see here, As the sample, if you have a mihrab, which is the first surface which is very near to the visitor, they will use very small size and fine pattern. And if they have such a architectural element as the sample one dome, which needs to be in connection with the people of the city and the visitor which they walking or have circulation in the alley or street around this mosque, it's need to make connection with them or make relation with them. The size of a scale will, the scale of the pattern will change, but on the gate you will see the differences, which is much more near to the user. In these two photos also you can see, this is Shah Mosque in Isfahan. This is the perspective from the street, and this is the perspective from the roof, which I make this photo. My assistant is not so short, he's 180, he's tall man, but you will see in compare with the pattern, his size is same one ant. And this is same dome. It is what we do in adornment designing, to controlling the scale and very skillfully to designing this pattern for each point of view. There are also combination of these three groups of the pattern which I explained for you, which in this sample you will see all of them, a squared pattern, geometric pattern, and Islamic or arabesque pattern, which combine with together in one architectural element. It not means which they are separate. They can combine also with together for architectural aim and approach again. Or this one, which is the combination of the floral pattern inside a geometrical structure. From Temuri period began to do this.
Many people don't see this. They look at these pictures and they say, okay, that's a nice drawing. But if you are carefully looking at this, here you have a very nice hexagon. Then here there is another hexagon. That's also hexagon, but it is special hexagon. It has two different sides. This long one, short one, long one, short one. Okay? You have to see these things, and then you will understand how the whole thing is built. So if you wish to build a pattern like this, you have to just select one of the symmetry lines, another symmetry line, then there is another here and another here, and you have your pattern. This area is essential. If you are able to design this area, then the pattern is yours. If you cannot design this area between these two stars, then you cannot make this pattern. Thanks.
Thank you. Second section of my article is about the origin of the form. I believe that the God, before creation everything, create mathematics. This is the discipline which could be able with that to create anything else. So the origin of the form is geometry and mathematics. And the pattern comes from origin of the forms. What is the origin of the form? Is geometry, mathematics, any form. I will say a sample later. I will show you some photo. The watermelon or zebra is the best sample, which you will see the pattern, how come from the origin of this ball. If you have thousands of watermelon in a farm, each one has a unique pattern on this, and all different with together. But how it create this pattern? with movement of the water during growing up a watermelon or a zebra. Under the shell of the watermelon, this pattern will create. So all of them are original and all of them are unique. We have same story in Islamic architecture because we are not doing decoration, we're doing adornment. We not do add something on the surface of the form or the elements. All the pattern come from origin of the form during the construction. Same story which God or nature did. This is same method, which we not add something on the forms. Our patterns come from origin of the form. It is the base of my research during these 15 years, which I search a lot and make lots of photography from the nature and the architecture and show this difference of conceptual difference and difference of concept between East Islamic architecture and the West architecture. I want to say something about the Islamic art, ideology, and Islamic art concept, which there is always these two questions, which Islamic art, what is Islamic art? Is there somebody which wants to speak about this? What is Islamic art? This question? Or did you think about this? But I hear different answer for this question. What is Islamic art? Which in some book I read the art of Islamic region or Islamic country or Islamic society, or the art which used for the Islam, for the religious purpose of Islam. But I think it is not correct, as you explained, both of you, which Islamic art is some kind of presentation of the human for the God. Yes?
Because there is no any researches.
And they classified our Islamic art usually with the Indian groups. When you go to the museum, usually Islamic art and Indian art are in one same section. Yeah, because that they compare us with the symbolic concept of Indian art, and most of Asian art, and most of the form and motif in Islamic art they address to the symbols.
Exactly.
But you know, Islam is anti-symbol, anti-form ideology. We have not form or we have not holy form or holy symbol in Islam. We have adhan.
Exactly.
Yeah, Islam is anti-form ideology. So if they classified by the viewpoint of the West researcher, we have such a thing. But I believe that Islamic art is same the art which the child doing. As the sample, if you saw as a, to the kids or the child, when they dancing for the parents, they moving their hand, they moving their feet, and say, "Oh, parents, see, I doing this, I doing that," and lots of different variation you will see in Islamic art because this. In any region, the human want to present himself or herself for his God or for her God. And this creates different kind of Islamic art outcome or resultant. And it is not all about religion. You will see miniature. From dance, music, all you can categorize in field of Islamic art. It is not only religious purpose for Islamic art.
We should not forget about tradition. Islamic art, it was not the art that was created for a specific purpose. It is evolution. It is evolution. It is the art that is coming from past, from the history. If you look at Uzbekistan, this is what you see on their walls. Before it went to the walls, it was on their carpets. It was on the carpets. They just moved forms from the carpets to the wall. The same is Iran. Iran, if you look at the art that was before Islam, you will see how these things were evolved. Islamic art was not created just in a vacuum. Okay, there was no one who said, okay, today I will do Islamic art, I will invent it. No, that's not true. Something like this doesn't exist. It is evolution, 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 evolution.
Very natural.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Because that I say this is from origin of the form. Very natural creation. So during the process of architectural process construction, these two samples shows how they're beginning to create the pattern. That is a column in Jame Mosque of Isfahan. And you will see how the pattern created here.
Which year is this?
It's from Alebuye period, before Seljuqi. And this is also from Alebuye. You will see this work are the most old pieces in Isfahan. Very old.
There is one other period before.
One other period before Seljuqi and
Before Seljuk.
before Teymuri, before Alebuye.
Before Alebuye, there is one. Starting with.
Before Alebuye was Abbasi.
Abbasi. Yeah.
This is after Abbasi.
Yes. But they are also having that.
They are also having such a construction method.
But again, we will come to the.
This is what I learned from my father, which to create a pattern on the minaret, this process. In Isfahan, we have a project which is 14 years under construction, a mosque with two big concrete minaret, which is not complete yet, and they could be able to cladding this because they have wrong method. They invite me for this project, and it was two big minarets under construction in the foundation section, and asked me if we want to do this minaret, what we can do. And I told them it is what I learned from my father, which about the ornament of the minaret, the beginning for the ornament from the first step from inside, without a scaffolding. It is very important. Without a scaffolding. One step by one step. From inside also about the dome, we have the same process of building. This is adornment during construction. So we make first step of the spiral stairs inside the minaret, put a brick outside, and put the glazed brick outside for decoration. And this pattern follow always the spiral staircase of minaret inside. This is because we have a spiral pattern and adornment on all the traditional minaret of Iran. Without the scaffolding, they doing this. From inside, they did this. Same woven a carpet. This is what I discovered, and I learned from my father. Only way of building, no scaffolding at all. Everything from inside. This one is old, this one is new. They did this with a scaffolding, but based on same method of adornment and designing. But again, you will see the spiral. Sometimes this minaret has two staircases inside that, two parallel goes up with together. Because the height of the stairs, each stair became too much, and they could not be able to go in one shape. So they make two stairs. It is the process which they do, which they build a stair, then they put the brick here outside, and from inside, they put the glazed brick outside, if this is the minaret. Later, they need to go up, so they make an arc, a roof, and again build a stair on that. So sometimes this height became too much, so they not choice to make two ramp, two staircase, parallelly. Yes. And what's our subject, which they do all this adornment during this construction process. Also, on the another architectural element, which you see, these are from Natanz. In the left one, you see the basic method. Later, it became more complete, which they use the mold and casting method for the mosaic. And later, it is our work, my work, which we have same designing method, but everything prefabricated from before. But we use same method of designing, not same method of construction. So we have a concrete or new construction, but same method of designing. For the form analyze, we follow. In this one also same. This is Oshorjan from Alebuye, very old work, which you see all this adornment happening during construction. Later in Natanz, in the Ilkhani period, they did this with mosaic technique on the mold and casting method. And later in Darbe Imam, in Safavi period, they take same analyze or same designing method, but everything is new and everything is surface, not structural. In this one, everything is structural, which happened during construction. But this one later, the construction is separate from adornment.
But here they use more.
And you will see kind of pattern which is related to the structure. But that one is much more free pattern. But they follow same geometry, same discipline of designing, not construction. In some of the elements, design, adornment, and structure is same thing. As the sample in this photo you see, this is a window in Golestan Palace, which decoration, adornment, color, structure, everything is same unit, one body. This one, which is the mosaic, is my grandfather work from mother side. Monument of Tehran, Azadi Tower. Shahyad Tower. Azadi Tower. And you see how the adornment and structure is same thing. Sometimes it's happening during construction, but sometimes it's not happening during construction, but it is not our subject because we are speaking about the design. Anyhow, the adornment follow the geometry of the form. As you see here, we have this kind of surface, so the adornment separate these two spaces together. This surface separate these two spaces together. And we have a central space here under the dome, so the adornment follow the geometry of this form, and we can say this comes from geometry of the form, origin of the form. And these panels, which has different definition, or this one, which you see. And later we will see how it will work. In this panorama which I make to show how it will work. From on ceiling of the one of the space in the Charbagh school, and you will see how all details follow the structure and geometry of the major geometry of the space. Even small points of the pattern follow this. This is not wallpaper. This is designed for exactly this shape, and it is unique adornment design. These are showing direction, you see. They define some special point in this and design showing direction. Later, I will say how it works as the progressing factors. Progressing, which is factor which guide us in the space or effect on the circulation of the people in the architectural space. Or creation a hidden network in the space, which you will see in this photo very clearly. Hidden network, which is with the effect of adornment in the space.
But I
because it will not go directly to the symbols or to the iconal items. You see in the West architecture, as the sample, if you go to the Florence church, if you erase this painting and put another painting, there is not happened any special thing. But if you erase this pattern, as the sample under this ceiling, or in Sheikh Lutfullah Mosque in Isfahan, and use another pattern, totally different definition you will have.
It is created in such a way that you have transition from this shape, you have transition to this one. These two shapes are connected. The pattern in these shapes is connected. This part is connected to this one, and is smooth transition of the whole pattern.
Yes,
not
transition.
only these lines. Okay, so this is not a painting. This is something that is just giving you idea. Just look at this. You have here octagonal pattern, and then you're getting fragment of octagonal, again fragment, again octagonal. And remember one thing, this is not flat. So the difficulty of creating something like this is much higher than difficulty of creating things on the paper. Exactly. This is what we do on the paper, this is rubbish. Okay? This is what they do here. They have the curve, and they have to adjust the pattern on the curve. Take just a ball, kid's ball, and try to make a pattern on the ball. You will see how different technique you have to use.
Thanks,
okay?
Professor Mirak. Very better explanation in compared with me, yes. Same story of zebra or watermelon, which I told you. These are the base of this idea, the basic concept of this idea from Jame Mosque Isfahan. Some of them happened during construction, but some of them later in Ilkhani period, which is added to the surface. And it's separate from structure. But later what we do in Safavi period, we take our lessons from ancient method and use this with new techniques, which is creation mu'arraq or mosaic, with same method, designing method, but separate from the structure, with making mold and installing mosaic on the mold and make it ready-made panel and then fixing on the structure. Today afternoon, Dr. Kazempour will explain for you about these techniques. But I will only attend to this, which is first step is putting the pattern on with the paper, with the drawing, with coding system, which he will explain for you about this coding system, on different glazed tiles, then cut it with diamond hook, coding or sorting. After sorting, installation from backside, and then this is Persian method of mosaic, different with the zellich.
This one is which material?
Ceramic. Ceramic mosaic. And then fixing ready-made panel separate from the structure. But we follow same method, designing method, not same construction method. And you see here, this is a muqannas which I make in Bahrain. Also about the polychrome tile, what they call in Iran half rank. I designed this dome in Saudi Arabia and make this, produce this ceramic with gold luster background for this dome in Saudi Arabia. 2006 I make this. You see, dividing is based on the geometry of form, what we learn from ancient method, ancient designing method, and then separate this in our method, which I will explain for you, to have such a pattern on the surface of such a complicated form. And how we divide this and how we fix this. And this is the measurement method, which we take the dimension in compare with one axe here, angular axe. We take this dimension, as I explained yesterday. Then we calculate the circumference of each circle layer by layer. Then we divide this as the sample in 16, 12, or 24 part, or 18. And we have this template. Later, we're doing our drawing on the template. And we have part of the dome. As you see before, this.
I said on the sphere design is completely different. So this thing, this is not even triangle. Look at this. This is not straight line. This is not straight line.
This
okay?
is curvy.
So this is curve. And you need really two patterns, this one and the other one that will fit to this one. So this will work as a symmetry line, but in space, not on the paper, on the plane.
On the flat surface.
Yeah.
It's not on the flat surface. And please, attention. Always you have to consider the scale, as I explained before, how it will look like the final form. From the street, from down. Because otherwise you will have not perfect finishing.
Where's this? Saudi Arabia?
And this is also one of my father work, which is mosaic. And you see here, it is Shiraz. You see dividing of the mosaic panel with this line. The construction, the structure is concrete. But these are mosaic panel, which they doing with dry fixing method on the concrete structure with the screwing. Yeah. You saw in the picture dry fixing method before. Dry fixing method, this is the dry fixing method with welding. You see, this is concrete structure, this is mosaic panels, dry fixing method. Same for that dome. Same this dome, it's dry fixing, separate from the structure. And this is the old mosque in Isfahan, Sheikh Lutfullah Mosque, which has the same designing, dividing, which I explained for you before. It's not really possible to consider which one is, which adornment happened during construction and which one is separate. But based on the professional research, you can find. But based on the architecture time or period of time, or architecture slide, you will consider which one is separate from the structure or which one is not independent from the structure. Or in this method. And this is another sample which we did in Malaysia for the Islamic art of Kuala Lumpur. What I say, form geometry, you will see the best sample in the nature, as I explained before, as the sample is central form. Or this, dividing to the parts, division. I designed this based on the parametric design factors with using of the mathematics. And I take the concept from this. This is a ceiling design, which recently I designed. Based on these two concepts, I take the idea. A little more complicated central form, central discipline. That is Kah Golestan. This is Shah Mosque in Isfahan. And this is my work. I did this when I was 19 or 20 years old in Isfahan, gate of Isfahan TV center, which I was thinking about the adornment under the ceiling. It was very complicated for one square, which was cut with 2 quarters of circle from both sides, not symmetric, and only 2 corners I have. So I decided to follow this corner and make this parallel line with muaqqali pattern. Same the story which happened in the nature, and you saw that zebra. And I follow this complicated geometry of form, and later I decided to add one brick for the facade, and later I decided to make it more complicated, which anybody could not be able to copy this later, and added another one top of that, and make it much more complicated with this. It's very complicated for doing construction.
So that shape of the roof you designed, or
Yes,
you
everything.
that shape?
Design and build.
Okay, so the shape
Everything.
You chose
Yes.
that shape.
In nature, there are lots of these samples. How, as the sample in a fish, how very a small detail follow the geometry of the fish body. It is same purpose. Or this one, which is again one of the work of my grandfather from mother's side, Kamal al-Mulk in Neyshabur. Or this one. This is also very complicated form. As you say, it is not flat. It is a corner with two curves which they cut each other. And you will not find even 1 point of mistake here. Even 1 point of mistake. It is not wallpaper. It is one exact adornment designing. You see? And both sides also. There is not any mistake, you see? And this is one of our recent projects, which you see in all of this complicated shape, we have exact design, unique. Nowadays, I am researching about the reaction diffusion idea, which comes from the nature, which create much more complicated adornment for me. There are simple or complicated disciplines for creation the adornment, but this reaction diffusion consider the factor which is the reason for this changing. Article is about the effect of adornment in the architectural space or on the architectural elements. As I explained before, there is big differences between the Islamic adornment and what I call West or Christian decoration, which you see in this photo. And I told before, if we erase the painting under the ceiling of one church, it will not happen anything if you added another painting. But if you erase the adornment of this ceiling, you will have completely different definition of form or effect on the space. So I think about this and classified the effect which we have with adornment in the architectural space or in our architecture. I consider the adornment as aesthetic factor, which lots of research speak about this, which regarding to the symbols, to the aesthetic side, aesthetic effect, which I will not speak about this too much, don't like. Second is adornment as emotional factor, which affect on our emotion as a human. The first was effect of adornment or pattern or color on us as a member of a society with historical background, with understanding of the symbols, with historical background of thinking or mind. But the second one, the effect of adornment or color on the people as a human with this visual system, with these eyes of human. The third is adornment as definition factor, fourth, adornment as processing factor, which is related with the circulation in the space and the movement in the space, which is very related with the function. And next is adornment as manipulation factor, which is related with the illusion purpose. This is the first time which somebody classified the adornment in these groups. This is my thesis. First of all, the adornment and aesthetic as aesthetic factor, which I don't like to speak too much about this because lots of people and lots of books there are about these symbols, calligraphy, iconography, this thing. At first, I have to say, all this effect it is possible to be with together. It's not separate. We can have combination of 2, 3, 4, or all 5 with together. So the sample which I show maybe have all of them, or 3 of them, or 4 of them. But the selection is the classification is like this: aesthetic factor. This is in tube copy, in a mihrab, and the symbolic effect, which address to our historical background or our historical understanding as a member of Islamic society, maybe. If you are from West, or if you are from Japan, or you are from another culture, you will maybe have another understanding of this adornment. This from Kazba in Algeria, and this from Natanz in Iran. So different understanding of these symbols or motifs. These are symbols. I not categorize this as the main part of Islamic adornment. These are symbols. Second category is the usage of adornment as emotional factor. In compare with together in these two images, you will understand which this one is a palace, a luxury space, and this one is a mosque. Because the color, which is gold, red, white, and this one, which has blue, beige, green, or turquoise color. And these effects, it is what we get from our visual system as a human, not from our background of understanding of the subject. Or this one in compare with that one. Very simple and very full color and full design work. It is a palace, and this is a bath, Turkish bath. Or this one and this one in this one. In compare the colors in these 3 samples. Or this one and this one. More simple, more. This is from Samarkand, a mausoleum, or Topkapi Palace. Luxury in compare with religious effect, which affect on our emotion. When you go to Imam Reza Holy Shrine in Mashhad, you will see lots of gold there. If you take these golds, how will be the emotional effect if you separate this gold? This is the gold which affect on you. From 2 sides, emotional, also aesthetic, because you know gold is expensive, and emotional because gold is shiny. But from here, our architectural subject is beginning from this part, which adornment has a usage for definition the form, or changing definition the form, or effect on the definition the form, or a space. As the sample, this is a cube, simple cube in Samarkand. And you will see how adornment define different parts or different zones on this, or divide this, and make it more luxury or more complicated. And all of this happened with the adornment on this cube. This is the first step of architectural usage of adornment. These are 2 similar forms, one of them in Munich, Germany, and one of them is Charbagh School. Exactly same surface, but you see the definition with effect of adornment on same surface. What's the resultant of the adornment as a definition factor? It is a square. Lots of a square you can find. But how they change the definition of a square? In this or in that? Or in this or that one? This is design. Or the pyramid, and how they use adornment to change the definition of these two pyramids, or create differences between. And a definition usage of the adornment on two pillars, and you will see what is the difference from Qajar period and from Temuri period. The surface, the shape is a square, same, but the outcome is totally different. Or these spandrels. These spandrels also, which has different character as a geometry. Or these two mirror work from Imam Reza Ali Shrine, which you see same shape but with two different definitions. The last effect of adornment is the effect of adornment as progressing factor, which progress the space. Progress is programming or guiding or effect on the movement or circulation. How guide you in the architectural space? As the sample you will see, this katiba shows the direction of the entrance to arrive to the main space. And the size and dividing this part with that part, it shows where the movement and circulation will happen. Or this one, which all the adornments take the direction of movement in this passage. And if you have a stop space or a stop point, it is a central adornment. But if it is a circulation of movement space, you have this, or this, or this. Right direction of the adornment. This one also, which you see in this gate in Jame Mosque of Isfahan. And this, which dividing the zone or the space which supposed to use for the praying with the other part of the height of a space, and then collect everything with the adornment to the center, which you will see later in Sheikh Lutfullah Mosque. And very important points, which has a scale of human, and when you are alone and want to praying in this space, you will need not feel you are alone, because you make a nice relation with these points in the space, and you think there are some other thing around you which you can connect with them in the size of human. And also the dividing of the space in two parts, or even dividing the space which you can sit here, or dividing the space, it is processing. And this, which define different zone under this big ceiling Byzance domes. And you see this as a sample. Or when you come from a street to the home, step by step, you will see more decoration or more small detail in the adornment. As the sample, this is from Kasba, Algeria, a street without any adornment, any pattern, courtyard, and bridal chamber view, which is much more decoration. It's very usual. Or this is one of my recent projects in Copenhagen, Denmark, which by the mistake of the architect, the direction of Qibla was like this, to the corner. And when they give me this space for interior designing, it was one of my challenge to solve this. And I make this big mihrab here with very effective color. and I designed this carpet, everything, and this also, all the interior design, even carpet I did, to again return it back the right direction of Qibla to the space. And became like this, very effective usage of the adornment as a progressing factor. Sometimes also we need more effect on the form, which want to manipulate our architectural element. Sometimes we want to manipulate our architectural form as the, to create the illusion. It is a flat surface. Yes, it is a flat surface. You will see this tile. It's in Shiraz, Qamar al-Muluk house, and you see how the adornment change in illusion, create an illusion to manipulate this form. Everybody did understand it is flat? Flat. It's flat. Look at the tiles. Look at the tiles. Even you cannot believe when I say. Yeah, it's painting. How they present this square, show an opening, or even this, very avant-garde. Very avant-garde manipulation, this square. Isfahan Jame Mosque, Isfahan Jame Mosque. Teimuri period. The late Teimuri period. Or this one, which create two layers. And it is not two layers, only with effect of color. And the scale of pattern, they did this. Or in Topkapi, when they have a mistake and have a column in the, under the dome, they try to solve this mistake with adornment and create such an illusion. But more artistic work in Sheikh Lutfullah Mosque, which they, you know, Sheikh Lutfullah Mosque is not too high. It's a little down, not too deep down. So they want to show this too deep, create this illusion in perspective, and then with usage of two different color, contrast of color, show this as a grid which has holes, and it's look like a network. And with this kind of perspective, they show this, create an illusion perspective in that, and create a more deep surface. And this is the best piece of architectural adornment in Isfahan, which show very nice sample of manipulation this form with adornment. With the mathematics happen. It needs to be engineered to design such an adornment. Thank you for your attention.